The NBA has suspended Draymond Green for Game 3. Warriors already trail 0-2 in the series. The suspension was based in part on Draymond Green's history of unsportsmanlike acts. Resumes matter. I've said that multiple times on the show. Draymond's resume here hurt him. Listen, if you get a speeding ticket, right, you pay a fine. If you get multiple speeding tickets, you lose your license. It also didn't help Draymond with Adam Silver in attendance getting the crowd riled up. The memories of malice in the palace run deep in this league. There's the old saying, can't yell fire in a crowded theater. I do not think that helped Draymond Green at all, inciting the crowd, getting them riled up. That's a non-starter for the NBA. That malice in the palace thing, they still worry about that and the damage it did to the league. And I think with Draymond, it's the old saying, our gifts become our curses. He has been at times a heel and a villain and a tough guy. And that's the reason they have 4 titles, right? Like, it's a big part of who they are. After Steph Curry, Draymond Green is the soul of this team. Not Klay Thompson. Not even Steve Kerr. It's Steph Curry and Draymond Green. Steve Kerr has told people privately how valuable Draymond Green is at practice, on the flights, creating energy. And you take the good with the bad. And the good's been 90%, and the bad's been about 10%. There has been bad. 2016, they led the Cavs 3-1. He gets ejected. It's a turning point. Warriors lose the finals. Draymond and Kevin Durant. I mean, there's multiple well-documented stories. He may have inflamed that relationship. KD left. There's the punch. And then there's this. And you see it in business. You see it in sports. You see it in relationships. Is that ego that helps you build an empire can often unravel you. And I've seen it my whole life. That's why be grateful, be humble. When you're at the top, the Warriors have always accepted the good with the bad with Draymond, and it has overwhelmingly been good. They do not have 4 titles without him. And even with KD, and though they could battle at times, somebody had to be the physical guy. Somebody had to be the presence. Somebody had to be the bouncer. But now this dynasty is teetering. They're all mid-30s. Klay had a recent injury a year and a half ago. Steph limps every playoff game. Draymond Green is older, and the young guys are not ready to take the baton yet. Kuminga, Moody, Jordan Poole, they got rid of Wiseman. So this season has been bookended with a Draymond punch and a Draymond kick. And I fear that it's the end of this dynasty. I didn't think it was worth an ejection. I would have given Sabonis and Draymond technicals. But the NBA said, we went back and looked at his history, and I think with Adam Silver in attendance, inciting and riling up the crowd, I don't think that did any favors to Draymond Green. And I've watched the Warriors play 50 times this year, and I'm not sure they can beat Sacramento without Draymond. The ball doesn't move as well. He's their best defender. He's an absolute catalyst in timeouts. I'm not sure they can beat the Kings without him. I know they can't beat the Kings in Sacramento without him. They're going to need big games from Jordan Poole, Jonathan Kuminga, and Kayvon Looney. And I'm not sure they're going to get it. Well, you know, they say, I did pick the Suns in a weird West to get to the finals. Without Paul George, Clippers aren't the same team. Warriors have not been good enough on the road. I don't trust Denver. Sacramento's young. But they say that styles make fights, okay? And so sometimes you got to see boxers fight for a couple of rounds to understand how it's going to work. And when I watch the Clippers with all that depth against the Suns without much of a bench, my takeaway is Phoenix needs another guy. They feel like they're a guy short. If you gave them the Clippers' Norman Powell or a Terrence Mann, just a reserve, it would feel different. But they gave away 3 players. Remember, they gave away 3 players, all of them important players, to Brooklyn to get Kevin Durant. So they had to give up Mikal Bridges. You know that was going to hurt, right? Everybody, but you're not going to get Kevin Durant without him. But even a guy like Cam Johnson, who they gave up. Cam Johnson was averaging 14 points a game. And that's about what they feel like they need, a little margin of error. Cam Johnson the other night against Philadelphia had a huge night. Because every time I'm watching this series, every time Phoenix has a substitution, you're holding your breath. Now, Cameron Payne is the backup point guard to Chris Paul, but he's injured. And maybe when Cameron Payne comes back, that's the guy. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe that's the guy. But I feel like there's no margin for error. It's almost like if you have a connecting flight at an airport and you only have like 25 minutes, if there's a 10-minute delay, you miss your flight. If one of your kids has to go to the bathroom, you don't get there on time and they close the door. I mean, last night, Phoenix's starters, give me a break. They shot 60% from the field. That's not going to happen again. Devin Booker shot 64%. That's not going to happen again. It's just there's no margin for error. When I watch these two men, because I think the Clippers need another star. They have depth. The Suns don't need another star. They need another guy, which the Clippers have a couple of. And again, maybe that's Cameron Payne, but I think they need another dude. And that's why teams like Milwaukee all year add a Jay Crowder, they add a piece here. It's amazing how often just another dude matters. But I watched it last night, and I'm like, Cameron Payne needs to play because they're not going to shoot. The Phoenix starters shot 60% last night. There's no margin for error. That game was tied at half. It was in Phoenix. Like, they're going to go back to Los Angeles, and they may be lucky to get out of there with a 2-2 split. That's what it feels like to me. They need another dude. So there you go. I know, the Draymond Green thing. Kind of an eye roll to me, but I have to be honest. I say this all the time on this show. Resumes matter. And the NBA came out with Draymond Green, and it's their words, not mine. They went and looked at previous actions. Again, you get a speeding ticket, you get a fine. You get multiple, you lose your license. And I think they just stacked up his resume. Adam Silver was there. He watches him rile up the crowd. And it's like, all right, we have to send a message. And that is why, for all young people in life, be careful. Be aggressive. Don't be reckless. Resumes matter. And the way the wording is in the NBA, it was a go-either-way situation, and they went to his resume. I mean, you read the NBA release. It's like, could, should, may. Let's go look at his resume. If this is the first instance, or maybe just the second, he had one 7 years ago, it sounds like they could have passed on it. Because it should be noted, after the kick, Sabonis played for another 7.5 minutes. I mean, he finished the game. Well, we got to be serious here. So, J-Mac, what did you make? I got to be honest with you. I watch a lot of Warrior games. I'm not sure they can beat Sacramento without him. I don't think they can.
I don't want to go overboard.
Not twice.
You remember that LeBron Heat team in the finals, their final year against the San Antonio Spurs, and you could just sense like, oof, this doesn't look good. Spurs are young, and the Spurs crushed them, and that was the end. LeBron bounced after that. You have to wonder, Colin. In the NFL, you always say if there's too much drama, a history of drama, just move off of that player. This Draymond Green might be the final. Might be the final straw for Draymond because he has a player option. He wants to get paid.
Right.
How do you pay a guy who has a histoy of kicking Steven Adams in the groin?
Well, you do because you got 4 titles. You got something out of it. So he's going to miss just game 3. So I think he's much more between screens and rebounding. I think on the offensive end, he's more valuable than everybody thinks. He is the constant screen guy. He's a great passer.
And the drama, are we dusting under the rug that he punched out a teammate earlier this season?
No,
the technical foul, the finals in 2016?
But again, I am willing to deal with difficult people occasionally if I get a reward for it.
Oh.
Right? Like Aaron Rodgers. Green Bay's put up with a lot. When did they move off him? Oh, dude, you're not winning playoff games. They put up with Aaron Rodgers for years. It's when Aaron started getting beat at home by an old Tom Brady, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Jared Goff that Green Bay's like, okay, we put up with a lot of stuff. We're not getting the reward for the drama. And that's the issue here. So Draymond has given you absolutely 90% good, 4 titles. Listen, Steve Kerr wasn't mad at Draymond and Jordan pulled the punch. He was mad it got out. Like if you go to a month before the punch, Draymond and Poole, read some of Steph and Steve Kerr's quotes. Go back and look them up. Jordan Poole was wearing teammates out.
It's fair. And they still paid him.
But so this thing is, I am always willing to deal with a little drama. Do I get the payoff?
So what if the payoff is they lose in the first round of the Kings?
Well, again, it looks like the end of the dynasty. I mean, look, go back to the end of New England's dynasty. Brady throws a pick six, they lose at home to Tennessee, and you're like, ooh, that's a clunky ending. They're all clunky endings. Jordan with the Wizards.
Oof.
Dynasties don't end, it's Mahomes in 12 years, he'll be hobbling around the field, and they'll get blown out at home in a playoff game, and it will be over. They never end pretty. Most dynasties, broadcasting dynasties, law dynasties, media dynasties, team dynasties, they're not pretty at the end. And so is this a Thelma Louise moment where you drive them right off the cliff with the stomp? And it's very, very possible. But I will argue to the end, Warriors got 4 titles. How'd your team do? How many titles your team get? And he is invaluable in that room. I mean, I know somebody that knows Steve very closely. And Steve's like, even at practice, when you're a great offensive team like Kansas City Chiefs or the Warriors, anytime you're a great offensive team in sports, it's easy to get complacent because you can flip a switch and get points, right? When teams win with defense and toughness, you never take it for granted because points come hard, but you can win. The Warriors get complacent really fast. The one guy that held them accountable, took no practices off, was always Draymond. So he was overwhelmingly worth it. But, I mean, this season starts with a punch, ends with a kick maybe. There's no way. I don't think they can beat – I don't know. So what happens whenever they play at the Chase Center, their new arena, the young guys tend to play great. Their role players are just – like Kuminga will be big. Jordan Poole, who's been awful in the series, will be good. So they're going to need all these reserve guys, Moody, guys off the bench to be huge. And they generally are at the Chase Center. But if they lose, obviously the series is over. If they win, here's what I wonder. Did this create resentment in the room? Because we already know chemistry was an issue with this team. That's why they were so bad on the road. Does this double down on some chemistry issues, young and old guys? I don't know the answer to that.
Keep Steph Curry, figure out the rest later.
Well,
Draymond's going to want to get paid this offseason. Clay has already made it clear he wants to get paid as well. I don't see how those guys are getting paid, Colin. It just doesn't make sense.
No, listen, I've said this before. I said this to you, and I really believe this. If the Warriors lose and they start looking around, Jokic is young, and Embiid and Giannis, there's a lot of bigs around the league. And you start looking around, you think to yourself, listen, we need some scoring down low. I keep saying, if Anthony Davis rolls through these playoffs, keep your eye on it because the Lakers got to match salaries. Klay Thompson, Michael Thompson's a broadcaster for the Lakers. He can shoot, catch and shoot. People say they're not going to break up this or break up that. Businesses break stuff up all the time if they believe in return they can keep it going. The heart and soul is Steph. Everything is arguably movable after that. I think they really like Andrew Wiggins, though. I think they like Andrew Wiggins a lot because he gives you some offense as well. A lot of drama, a lot of fun.